All right, what's up, guys? So improving your ball striking starts with better contact. There's really only three things that matter in your golf game. Number one is contact. Number two is face control. And number three is path control. Here's the thing with contact, I'm a firm believer that contact is as much of a skill as it is a result. What does that mean? If you're doing some janky stuff in your swing that's going to encourage your contact to suffer, then you may have a hard time controlling your contact. So yes, if your swing is in a better spot, you may find it easier to get better contact. However, at the end of the day, we're just trying to take something relatively small and put it on something else that's relatively small. That is no different than a skill. So say you and I were outside throwing a football or a baseball or a basketball, whatever. If I'm throwing it to you and I'm constantly throwing it over here, well, intuitively, I'm going to try to throw it more over here so that maybe I actually hit you. And eventually I might start actually throwing it over there. So then I'm going to start aiming back at you. That is a skill. Or let's say I had a bucket on the ground somewhere over here and I had a handful of golf balls in my hands. I'm going to chuck it into that basket over and over and over again. Well, eventually I'm going to learn from that and say, wait a second, I'm always coming up short. Maybe I need to throw it a little harder. Maybe I need to throw it a little higher. That is reacting based on skills, and contact is no different. Now, there's three different kinds of contact. There is heel to toe contact. That's like a horizontal plane. Then we've got high and low contact. Then we've got turf interaction. Now, turf interaction is not just about where do we strike the ground, it's also about how we strike the ground. Are we going to be kind of diggy and take a very deep divot? Are we going to be what some people consider more sweepy, where we're just barely grazing the ground? Are we going to use the whole sole of the club? So is the toe going to be the only one that hits the ground? Is the heel going to be the only one that hits the ground? Or are we going to use the entire sole through the bottom of the swing? I would highly suggest that you work towards using the whole sole of the club on the ground through the bottom of the swing. So you want your divots nice and wide. You don't want really skinny bacon divots. And then I would also obviously work on the location that you're striking the ground. So are we striking the ground before the ball, or are we striking the ground after the ball? To hit your best shots, we need to strike the ground after the golf ball, at least on full swings. Now, I'm a right-handed player naturally. If you have seen anything that I've posted on Instagram recently, you'll know that I'm actively working towards teaching myself how to play left-handed. That's why I have a left-handed wedge right now. It's the only left-handed club that I have. It's a 52 degree. I'm hoping to get some more clubs here pretty soon. Today, I'm working on contact. Now, let me give you a really cool way that you can work on this. I'm sure you've seen this before. Take some Dr. Scholl's foot spray, spray it on the face. Now, where most people get this wrong, at least in my opinion, is they just spray the face thinking that that's going to solve their problems. They think that that's enough to build a skill. Well, spraying the face just gives you some feedback. Now, I'm fortunate enough to practice in an area that has TrackMan. This facility uses TrackMan.io. I always bring my TrackMan 4 for my own reasons. Those also give feedback, but feedback isn't always enough to build a new skill. So I'm gonna hit a few shots here. I'm just gonna show you kind of what I may see on the face. I'm gonna be kind of ridiculous with it at first. I'm not gonna try to get great contact here. Okay, so that one was a little fat and a little off the toe. I'm not sure if you can see that. It was actually quite a bit off the toe. And I'm gonna see if I can repeat the same kind of heavy and toey contact, just intentionally. Okay, so we got two shots that are a little high and off the toe. Hopefully you can see that on your screen. That's great to be able to have that feedback, but how do we fix that? What are some things that we can do to fix that? Now, I see all kinds of stuff on social media that sits there and says, oh, a toe shot comes from X, Y, Z, and A through freaking T as well. But then I'll see the same exact post or the same exact person, influencer, coach saying that a heel shot comes from the same exact stuff. So I call BS on all of that. A toe shot at the end of the day just means that the toe is getting closer to the body at impact than it was at setup. vice versa for a heel shot. So if I'm working away from a toe shot, I might do two main things. First thing I might do is I might consider, okay, well, what kind of drill could I do to do the exact opposite of the problem? So the problem is that the club is moving closer to me through the bottom of the swing. So I might actually say, wait a second, I want to take a drill swing where I move the club further away from me through the bottom of the swing. So let's see if I can do that. So in this drill, I'm going to set up to my ball, and I'm going to miss the ball. I'm going to try to miss the ball on the outside of I'm going to use the club to go outside the golf ball through the bottom of the swing. And I'm actively going to try to miss this ball. Perfect. So I just moved the club further away from me. I'm going to try that one more time. Cool. Now I'm going to bring that same feel into this shot, but now I'm going to let the ball get in the way of the club head. Perfect. Now I'm going to use my feedback. So I just hit that way more towards the heel. That's a good thing. That's the goal of this drill. So say I do that maybe like one or two more times. Now, next thing you know, I should be moving closer and closer to the center of the face if my problem was a toe shot. If I overdo that drill, I might start struggling with some heel shots. So let's say I started to struggle with some heel shots. I can take that same exact drill, but do the opposite. So what is a heel shot? A heel shot just means at the end of the day that the club got further away from my body at impact than it was at setup. So the drill for that, or a drill for that, would be to set up to your ball and actively miss this ball on the inside. Okay, maybe we're going to do that like 2 times. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways you can achieve that too. But you do drills like that, and next thing you know, you start to build a feel of better contact as you're working through your game. Another couple options that you can use for like exaggerated ways to start getting a little bit better contact depending on the issue. The more common issue that I see is people struggle with a heel shot or a shank or a hosel rocket, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter to me. Could be as simple as taking an object and putting it just outside the ball. So I'll just grab the easiest object for me. If your ball is here, you grab your club and you set up with an object just outside the toe. And what do you think the goal is here? We're going to miss the object. Now, I would usually start with like maybe a head cover, an empty bottle of water, maybe a plastic range bucket, something like that. You start it with maybe like a 1/2 inch outside the toe. As you get better, you can move it a little bit closer. This is just giving you a way to start missing an object, yet again, building in both feedback and skill. So the spray on the face, it's a really cool way to get feedback if you haven't necessarily built the feel and touch to know where you hit it on the face. You don't really know what it sounds like to hit a good shot or a bad shot. And it's a great way to kind of replicate some of the feedback that you may get on certain launch monitors. Having ways to fix the problem is more important. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Otherwise, keep working your contact. I'll create some more videos here pretty soon about how we can start utilizing turf interaction in the next piece. This video is just about heel to toe contact.